God message for you today. 1 Peter 3:10-11 says, "For whoever would love life and see good days must keep their tongue from evil and their lips from deceitful speech. They must turn from evil and do good. They must seek peace and pursue it." There once was a young woman named Lydia who lived in a bustling village. Though surrounded by kind neighbors, Lydia often found herself entangled in gossip and harsh words. Without realizing it, her tongue became a tool that hurt others, spreading negativity and fueling discord. One day, as Lydia was walking through the market, she overheard an elderly man speaking to a group of children. His voice was gentle but full of authority. He was reading a verse aloud. "Whoever would love life and see good days must keep their tongue from evil and their lips from deceitful speech." The words echoed in Lydia's heart. She realized how her words, often careless and sharp, had not brought peace but division. She saw the pain she had caused to her friends and family with her gossip and unkind remarks. That evening, Lydia returned home and opened her heart in prayer. She asked God for forgiveness and the strength to change. The next day, she began a journey of speaking only words that would uplift and encourage others. She practiced turning away from gossip and focusing on words of kindness and truth. As time went on, Lydia's relationships began to heal. Where there was once discord, peace now blossomed. Her home, once filled with tension, became a place of refuge for those seeking encouragement. The change in her heart transformed her life, and she saw God's goodness flow through her in ways she had never imagined. The village noticed the difference, and soon others began to follow her example. Lydia's decision to guard her tongue and pursue peace didn't just transform her own life. It began to spread light and love throughout the entire community. This story illustrates the powerful message of 1 Peter 3:10-11, showing that our words have the power to build up or tear down. When we choose to speak life and pursue peace, God works through us to bless others and lead us into the goodness He has planned for our lives. As Lydia continued to nurture her new habit of speaking life, she began to notice the subtle but profound ways her words affected those around her. The village, once bustling with idle chatter and gossip, began to shift towards conversations filled with encouragement and support. One afternoon, while helping a neighbor named Elara, who was struggling with a difficult project, Lydia recalled her own journey. She gently encouraged Elara, saying, "You're doing better than you think. Remember how hard you worked on your last project? You can achieve this too." Elara, who had been doubting herself, lit up at Lydia's words. With renewed determination, she pushed through her struggles, inspired by Lydia's belief in her. Encouraged by this, Lydia sought out opportunities to spread kindness further. She began organizing small gatherings where villagers could share their challenges and triumphs. With every meeting, they spoke truthfully and uplifted one another. As they shared stories, laughter filled the air and genuine connections formed. The ripple effect of Lydia's efforts began to show in unexpected ways. Old rivalries faded and friendships blossomed. The village became a close-knit community that stood together, offering help and support whenever needed. Lydia often reflected on the words from 1 Peter 3:10 to 11, realizing how faithfully God was working through her desire to turn away from negativity and seek peace. However, not everyone was on board with this newfound harmony. A few villagers, set in their ways, struggled to accept the change. They whispered about Lydia's efforts, questioning her sincerity. At first, this hurt Lydia deeply. She wondered if her commitment to kindness was even worth it when faced with criticism. One evening, feeling disheartened, Lydia sat alone by the village fountain, the sound of the water soothing her troubled heart. In that moment of reflection, she felt God's presence enveloping her. A calm voice whispered to her soul, reminding her that true change takes time and that love is often met with resistance. She was reminded of the importance of perseverance and keeping her focus on her purpose. With renewed resolve, Lydia decided to love those who doubted her the most. Instead of responding to their negativity, she began to pray for them, asking God to open their hearts to the peace she had found. She included them in her gatherings, inviting them to share their thoughts and stories. Slowly but surely, their hardened hearts began to soften. As seasons changed, so did the villagers. The naysayers eventually became advocates for kindness, realizing that Lydia's words had power, not just to heal, but also to unite. Lydia's persistent pursuit of peace became a beacon of hope, reminding everyone that transformation often starts from within. Years later, as Lydia reflected on her journey, she saw a thriving village filled with laughter, understanding, and support. It was a community that had learned to value the power of their words and the importance of seeking peace. She had witnessed firsthand how a simple choice to guard her tongue and pursue goodness could ignite change, demonstrating the truth of God's promises in 1 Peter 3:10 to 11. The village was not perfect, but it was better, united by love and strengthened by the unwavering commitment of a young woman who dared to make a difference, one kind word at a time. And in that community, Lydia found that by loving others, she had truly discovered the fullness of life that God had promised. As the years rolled on, Lydia's influence continued to grow, and her commitment to speaking life and pursuing peace became an integral part of the village's identity. Her gatherings became a cherished tradition, drawing people from all walks of life to share their experiences and uplift one another. The villagers looked forward to these moments of connection, and they spoke of Lydia with reverence, calling her the voice of peace. One summer day, as Lydia was preparing for one of her gatherings, a traveler named Jonah arrived in the village. He was weary and worn from his journeys, burdened by the weight of past mistakes and the harshness of the world outside. As he walked through the village square, he couldn't help but notice the vibrant atmosphere, a stark contrast to the loneliness he had known. Curious, Jonah approached the gathering, where laughter and encouragement echoed around the room. He hesitated at the entrance, unsure of how he would be received. But Lydia, ever observant, noticed his hesitation. With a warm smile, she welcomed him, inviting him to join them. "Everyone here has a story," Lydia said, gesturing for him to take a seat. We all carry burdens, but together we can lighten the load. As Jonah shared his story, a mix of fear and vulnerability washed over him. He spoke of his struggles, the choices he had made that had led him to wander alone, and the longing he felt for acceptance. Instead of judgment, he was met with empathy and understanding. The villagers listened intently, sharing their own stories of hardship and redemption. Moved by their compassion, Jonah felt a spark of hope igniting within him. That night, he began to see that he was not defined by his past, but by the choices he made in the present. Inspired by Lydia and the community's spirit, he decided to pursue a new path, one of honesty, kindness, and connection. Over the following weeks, Jonah became an active part of the village. He participated in the gatherings, sharing his talents and helping others in need. His laughter joined the chorus of voices celebrating life, and slowly but surely, he found a sense of belonging he had long sought. Lydia, seeing the transformation in Jonah, felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She understood that her journey of seeking peace and speaking life was not just about her own growth, but about the impact it could have on others. Jonah's presence reminded her of the importance of community and the role each person plays in fostering a supportive environment. As the seasons changed, Lydia organized a special event to celebrate the village's commitment to kindness. She proposed a day of appreciation, where each villager would share stories of gratitude for the positive influence others had in their lives. The excitement was palpable, as everyone prepared for the event, eager to honor one another. On the day of the celebration, the village square was adorned with flowers and lanterns, creating a warm and inviting atmosphere. Villagers gathered, sharing heartfelt stories of gratitude. Jonah stood up to speak, his voice steady and filled with emotion. "I was once a lost soul drifting through life without purpose," he began. "But here, I found a community that embraced me and taught me the power of words and kindness. Lydia, you've shown us that words have the power to heal, to uplift, and to transform. Thank you for being a guiding light." The crowd erupted in applause, and Lydia felt tears of joy welling in her eyes. She had never sought recognition for her efforts, but witnessing the fruits of her labor filled her heart with immense gratitude. As the evening drew to a close, Lydia stood with her friends under a starlit sky, reflecting on how far they had come together. She remembered the words from 1 Peter 3:10-11, and how they had shaped not only her life, but the lives of many others. The villagers had become a tapestry of love, woven together through shared experiences and the choice to seek peace. In the years that followed, Lydia's legacy continued to flourish. New generations learned the importance of speaking life and pursuing peace, ensuring that the village remained a sanctuary of kindness and support. Lydia often shared her story with others, emphasizing that the journey of transformation begins within and that each person has the power to make a difference in the world. And so Lydia lived her life, embracing every opportunity to uplift those around her, always remembering that in every word spoken, there lies the potential for change, a change that could resonate far beyond her village echoing the timeless truth of love and compassion in a world that desperately needed it. As the years passed, Lydia became a beloved elder in the village, a wise woman whose heart was a wellspring of love and understanding. She continued to host gatherings, but now she also shared her insights with younger generations, teaching them not only the importance of kind words, but also the value of listening deeply. Children would gather around her on warm afternoons, eager to hear stories of her youth and the journey that transformed their village. She would weave tales of struggles and victories, illustrating how every challenge presented an opportunity for growth. One particularly warm day, while surrounded by a circle of attentive children, she shared a favorite parable. Once, there was a beautiful garden filled with flowers of every color. The gardener tended to it with great care, but one day, a storm came, uprooting many of the flowers. Instead of despairing, the gardener chose to replant the flowers, nurturing them back to health. In time, the garden flourished even more beautifully than before, proving that even after a storm, new life could emerge. The children listened in rapt attention, and Lydia smiled, knowing the lesson would stick with them. Just like that garden, she continued, we too can face storms in our lives. But if we choose to care for each other and speak words of encouragement, we will bloom brighter than ever. One day, a young girl named Ava, who had been particularly shy, approached Lydia after the gathering. "Lydia," she said hesitantly, "I want to share something, but I'm scared it won't be good enough." Lydia knelt down to Ava's level, her gentle smile reassuring. "Sweetheart, remember that every voice matters. Speak from your heart, and your words will be beautiful, no matter what." Encouraged, Ava took a deep breath and shared her poem about friendship, which spoke of the beauty found in connection and the strength that comes from supporting one another. As she spoke, her confidence grew, and her voice resonated with sincerity. The other children clapped enthusiastically, and Lydia's heart swelled with pride. Ava's experience inspired her to become an advocate for kindness within her peer group. She began to organize small projects, such as creating handmade cards for those in need or planning community cleanups. Under Lydia's mentorship, Ava learned that kindness could take many forms and that small acts could lead to significant changes. As Lydia witnessed the impact of her teachings, she realized that her legacy would live on through those she had inspired. The village continued to flourish as new generations embraced the values of love, empathy, and community. However, not all was perfect. A neighboring village had long held a rivalry with Lydia's, stemming from misunderstandings and grudges. Rumors often spread, and tensions occasionally flared, threatening the peace Lydia and her friends had worked so hard to cultivate. One day, a delegation from the rival village approached Lydia, seeking a meeting. Concerned yet hopeful, Lydia welcomed them into her home. The leader of the delegation, a man named Marcus, expressed the grievances his village had endured and the misunderstandings that had festered over the years. Lydia listened intently, remembering her own struggles with judgment and gossip. She recognized that this moment could either deepen the divide or serve as an opportunity for healing. "Marcus," she said with sincerity, "I believe we have more in common than we realize. We all want to thrive, to support our families, and to build a better future for our children. Let's find a way to bridge our villages rather than let our differences separate us." Marcus nodded, impressed by Lydia's willingness to extend an olive branch. Together, they crafted a plan to host a joint gathering, inviting both villages to come together in a celebration of unity. The idea was met with skepticism from some in Lydia's village, but she remained steadfast in her belief that love could conquer division. On the day of the gathering, Lydia and Marcus stood side by side, welcoming villagers from both sides. Initially, there was tension in the air, but as the celebration unfolded, people began to connect. They shared stories, laughter, and even a few tears as they discovered shared experiences and dreams. Lydia organized games and activities that required collaboration, allowing villagers to work together, break down barriers, and form new friendships. Slowly but surely, the walls of mistrust began to crumble, replaced by a sense of community that transcended old rivalries. By the end of the day, the two villages had forged bonds that would last a lifetime. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the gathering, Lydia stood before the crowd, her heart brimming with gratitude. "Today, we've proven that we are stronger together. Let us carry this spirit of unity in our hearts as we return to our homes." Cheers erupted from both sides, and in that moment, Lydia realized the power of words to heal wounds and create understanding. In the months that followed, the connection between the two villages deepened. Joint festivals became a regular occurrence, and friendships blossomed across the previously defined boundaries. Lydia watched with joy as Ava and other young people from her village continued to lead initiatives that promoted kindness and understanding, not just within their own community, but now extending to their new friends from the neighboring village. As she grew older, Lydia often reflected on her journey and the verse from 1 Peter 3:10-11 that had guided her all along. She understood now more than ever that true love for life is found in the pursuit of peace, the choice to speak life, and the commitment to nurture relationships. When Lydia finally passed on, her legacy lived on in the hearts of the villagers. They planted a tree in the village square in her honor, a tree that would grow tall and strong, a living testament to the power of love, kindness, and community. And as the generations continued to flourish, Lydia's voice, echoing the timeless truths of compassion and understanding, remained an ever-present guide, reminding them all of the profound impact they could have on one another's lives, each word a step toward a more peaceful, united world. As time went on, the tree in the village square became a symbol of unity, representing the strength that could be found when people chose to come together in love and kindness. Villagers would often gather beneath its sprawling branches, sharing stories and celebrating their community. They called it Lydia's tree, and it served as a reminder of her enduring legacy. As new families moved into the village, the traditions Lydia had established were lovingly passed down. The values of speaking life, pursuing peace, and supporting one another became woven into the fabric of village life. Children were taught the importance of kindness and the impact of their words from an early age, and they often performed small acts of service for their neighbors, just as Lydia had once encouraged. One day, a new teacher named Samuel arrived in the village. He had heard tales of Lydia's legacy and was eager to contribute to the community. Samuel had a passion for storytelling and understood the profound effects that words could have on young minds. He quickly became a beloved figure, captivating the children with his engaging stories and teachings on empathy and understanding. Inspired by Lydia's work, Samuel initiated a storytellers' circle, where villagers of all ages could come together to share tales of their experiences, dreams, and lessons learned. The circle became a cherished space for connection, fostering a sense of belonging among the villagers. Samuel encouraged everyone to listen with open hearts and minds, reinforcing Lydia's teachings about the power of understanding. During one of the gatherings, a young boy named Leo shared a story that touched everyone's hearts. He spoke of a time when he had felt lonely after moving to the village and how the kindness of his classmates had helped him feel welcome. As he spoke, tears welled in the eyes of many in the circle, recalling their own moments of struggle and triumph. After Leo finished, Samuel addressed the group. Leo's story reminds us that our words and actions have the power to shape the lives of those around us. Just like Lydia, we have the responsibility to create a community filled with compassion and support. As the seasons changed, the village continued to thrive. Samuel often spoke of Lydia's teachings, ensuring her legacy lived on in every lesson shared with the children. One crisp autumn day, the villagers decided to hold a festival in honor of Lydia's legacy. They called it the Festival of Kindness, where everyone would come together to celebrate the values she had instilled. The preparations filled the village with excitement as they planned activities that encouraged kindness, unity, and sharing. On the day of the festival, the village square bustled with life. Colorful banners adorned the streets, and stalls were filled with homemade treats and crafts. Music and laughter filled the air as villagers participated in games that encouraged teamwork and cooperation. During the festival, Samuel organized a special storytelling event beneath Lydia's tree. Villagers gathered, and one by one they shared stories that honored Lydia's impact on their lives. Some recounted the transformative moments they experienced because of her kindness, while others shared tales of how they had paid it forward in their own lives. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the gathering, Samuel stepped forward to conclude the event. Today we celebrate not just Lydia's memory, but the living legacy she has left within each of us. Let us continue to embrace her teachings, ensuring that kindness remains the foundation of our community. With that, the villagers joined together in a heartfelt chant, echoing their commitment to uphold Lydia's values. They promised to continue nurturing their community with love and understanding, allowing Lydia's spirit to guide them through the challenges and joys of life. As the night unfolded, the festival continued with music and dancing. Leo, inspired by the day's events, took to the stage and recited a poem he had written in tribute to Lydia. His heartfelt words resonated with everyone, celebrating the love and unity that Lydia had cultivated within the village. With each passing year, the Festival of Kindness became a beloved tradition, drawing families from neighboring villages who wished to experience the warmth and unity that Lydia had fostered. It became a gathering of love, where everyone was welcomed and valued regardless of their background. As generations continued to grow and thrive, Lydia's teachings became more than just stories. They evolved into a way of life. The villagers took pride in their community, and the bonds forged beneath Lydia's tree only grew stronger. New families arriving in the village would often be met with open arms and kind words, ensuring they felt welcomed and loved from the very start. Years later, when Samuel had grown older, he often sat beneath Lydia's tree, reflecting on the impact she had made on the village and the lives of countless individuals. He felt a deep sense of gratitude for the legacy that had blossomed under her guidance. One evening, as he watched children play and laugh together, he felt a tug at his heart, reminding him of Lydia's words about the power of unity. In that moment, he decided to share his vision for the future with the village council, a plan to establish a mentorship program that would connect the wisdom of the elders with the curiosity of the youth. The council embraced Samuel's idea with enthusiasm. They believed that by pairing older villagers with younger ones, they could create opportunities for shared learning, fostering intergenerational relationships, and ensuring that the values of kindness and community continued to thrive. As the program took shape, children eagerly awaited the chance to learn from the elders, who shared their stories, skills, and wisdom. The mentorship program became a catalyst for growth, allowing the younger generation to carry forward Lydia's legacy while encouraging the older generation to continue participating actively in the village life. One day, a young girl named Mia, who had just entered the program, approached an elder named Ilara. "What is the most important lesson you've learned in life?" she asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. Ilara smiled, her heart warmed by the question. "The most important lesson I've learned is that our words have the power to heal and bring joy. Speak with kindness, and you will create a ripple effect of love that touches everyone around you." Mia nodded, absorbing Ilara's wisdom. Inspired, she began to write down the stories and lessons shared during the mentorship sessions, determined to preserve the wisdom of her elders for future generations. As the years went by, Mia's collection of stories grew, and she decided to compile them into a book titled Voices of Kindness. With the help of Samuel and other villagers, she published the book, dedicating it to Lydia's memory and the values she had instilled in the community. Voices of Kindness quickly became a treasured part of village life, with families reading it together, reinforcing the importance of compassion and unity. It served not only as a testament to Lydia's impact, but also as a guide for future generations, encouraging them to cultivate a spirit of kindness and understanding. As Lydia's tree continued to grow strong and vibrant in the village square, it became a living monument to the legacy of love and community she had nurtured. New branches stretched out, symbolizing the ongoing growth of relationships forged in kindness. In time, Lydia's story, as well as the stories of countless others, became part of the village's collective memory. They were shared and celebrated in every corner, reminding everyone of the power of words to heal, uplift, and transform lives. Through the dedication and commitment of each villager, Lydia's legacy thrived, proving that one person's choice to seek peace and speak life could indeed change the world around them, one heart at a time. And so, the village remained a sanctuary of love, forever guided by the principles of kindness and unity, with Lydia's spirit alive in every word spoken and every act of compassion shared beneath the boughs of her beloved tree. As the village continued to thrive, the seasons changed, bringing new challenges and opportunities. With every festival of kindness, the bond between the villagers grew stronger, but they also faced the realities of the world beyond their borders. News of hardship from neighboring regions began to seep into their peaceful existence. One day, a traveler arrived in the village, weary and battered from a long journey. His name was David, and he carried with him tales of villages struggling under drought, famine, and conflict. As he spoke of his experiences, the villagers listened intently, their hearts heavy with concern. Samuel gathered the villagers, urging them to consider how they could extend their kindness beyond their own borders. "Lydia taught us that our kindness can be a beacon of hope," he said. "We have the power to make a difference, not just here, but in the lives of those in need." Inspired by David's stories, the villagers came together to brainstorm ways they could help. They decided to organize a Harvest for Hope campaign, where they would gather food, clothing, and supplies to send to those affected by the drought. The entire village mobilized. Families contributed what they could: baskets of fruits and vegetables from their gardens, warm blankets, and even handmade toys for children. The spirit of generosity filled the air as the villagers worked side by side, each person recognizing their ability to contribute to the greater good. As the weeks passed, the campaign took shape. Mia, now a young woman and a passionate advocate for kindness, took charge of organizing the logistics. With the help of Samuel and others, she reached out to nearby villages to join their efforts. They wanted to create a collective impact, reinforcing the idea that unity can lead to meaningful change. On the day of the collection, the village square overflowed with donations. The sight was overwhelming. Tables laden with produce, clothing, and handwritten notes of encouragement. Villagers shared their stories, expressing their hopes for those who would receive the gifts. David, moved by the outpouring of kindness, offered to help transport the goods to the affected areas. He had contacts in neighboring regions who could facilitate the delivery, ensuring that the villagers' efforts would reach those in need. As the villagers packed their contributions, they attached letters to each bundle, filled with words of encouragement and solidarity. "You are not alone," read one note. "We stand with you, and we hope for brighter days ahead." Amen. Share this video if you love God. Subscribe this channel for more blessings.